Welcome to the 31 Nights of Macoween. Every night during the month of October, I will review a scary movie. Come and join if you dare.
What time is it now? Isn't it getting late?
The Visit is a 2015 American found footage comedy horror film written, co-produced, and directed by M. Night Shyamalan, and starring Olivia de Jong, Ed Oxenbould, Deanna Dugan, Peter McRobbie, and Catherine Hahn. The film centers around two young siblings, teenage Becca and her preteen younger brother Tyler, who live with their single divorced mother, who had left home 15 years ago and is estranged from her parents. After finding their grandkids online and wanting to meet them, the grandparents invite them to spend a week at their farmhouse while their mother goes on a cruise with her boyfriend. I'm going to sum up this film in one word. Yahtzee! Okay, but all jokes aside, this Visit is a film that I have fond feelings for. I remember when this film came out back in 2015 and everyone was calling this M. Night Shyamalan's comeback film. So here's me thinking it's an actual good movie that I will enjoy very much and say, hey, he's back. But when I watched it, I didn't find a good film. I found a gem. The Visit is such a hilarious film when you view it as a comedy. As a horror film, it's okay. Not terrible or anything, just there. But as a comedy film, magnificent. The horror in this film generated the most laughs from me while watching this film. Of course, you have the Yahtzee scene, but one of my favorite other scenes in this film is when the grandmother asked one of the main characters to, would you go inside the oven to clean it? That broke me so hard. It's so funny. I don't know why. But besides that, a lot of horror relies on cheap jump scares, and I'm not a fan of that. The plot was just dumb. Me to tell me that the only reason the events in this film happened was because the grandparents messaged the kids on Facebook, and they hey, you want to meet us even though you've never met us in your entire lives? What? And spoiler, it's not really the grandparents, just some escaped mental patients that were posing as their grandparents who they killed. Spooky. Ooh. But here's my question as a viewer. Why didn't the mom look at the picture of the fake grandparents and say that those aren't my parents? Block them and delete them. I know that you'd be like, oh, she ran away 15 years ago, but she can at least have some memory of what her parents would look like. M. Night, what are you doing? That's plot hole questions, man. Come on. You're supposed to be better than that. The last thing to talk about this film will be the acting. And surprisingly, everyone did a good job in the roles. I say the acting in The Visit is one of its strongest assets. The grandparents were funny and fun to watch whenever they were on screen. And even the kids were great for the roles. Olivia de Jong and Ed Oxenbould had great chemistry together and worked off each other naturally like siblings. They gave the film a little bit more authenticity, and I think they're a good pairing whenever they're on screen, because there's another film that came out a few years later called Better Watch Out, reviewed it on the 25 Days of MMR Xmas. Well, they were in the cast, but they weren't siblings, but they had good chemistry together. I say they make a good pairing. The Visit was released on September 11th, 2015 on a budget of $5 million. After its run at the box office, it would go on to gross $98.5 million. Overall, while The Visit isn't the comeback I thought it was for M. Night, that being split a few years later, it does strengthen my argument that M. Night Shyamalan is one of the greatest comedic directors of our generation. I'm going to give The Visit a 5.8 out of 10.